Hey dear viewer! So a week ago I saw an Iron Man who completed his Noxious set after a whopping 2,117 Araxxi kills. And that must absolutely be a record. Well, a dreaded record. Currently I'm at 1,194 kills, and I still have one piece left to get. A piece known as Mr. Pointy. And you know what? Let's try to beat that record. I think that's a good way to keep myself motivated. What do you guys think? I only have 923 kills left to go. Anyway, before tackling Araxxi like Real Madrid's Pepe, let's first take on Durzag. And look at all these jihadi picks stacking up trying to fuck me over. It always happens when Durzag is nearly dead. Well, they're not messing me up anymore. Anyway, Durzag finally dies, but the kill itself kinda sucked. I mean, just look at my near empty yak. That bruised for itself. But we're here for the loot, so let's check it out. Maybe I get some more rune, just like in the previous episode. Okay, no rune at all. In fact, much better than rune. Achto primeval gloves. Finally, after 30 Durzag kills, again an Achto piece. Well, 30 give or take, I don't quite remember the exact number. But I believe this is kill number 43. Anyway, this episode is off to a great start. In fact, the only reason this episode could have started better is if I found Mr. Pointy. And I appear to have unlocked the animal cruelty feat. So please, PETA, don't take me to court. It was an accident. Because honestly, I don't really care about those raid feats. And that takes care of the first 10 Araxxi kills of this episode. Fortunately, no Mr. Pointy. So I'm moving a bit closer to beating that worst RNG record. Now let's talk drops. The uncut onyxes and ceramic scales are obviously fantastic. And I got quite a nice amount of coins too. Over 800k. The first day of this episode is completely death free. So that makes 6 days without dying. Yes, even in this episode the skeletal horror drops an elite clue. And let's find out what the reward is. Okay, this just screams for a reroll. Well, from 0 useful items to mostly useful items. And even ancient platelegs. Reroll successful. So this is the first Araxxi kill of the day, and again a pheromone. This is the second time in a week that I got a pheromone on the very first kill of the day. Not that I'm complaining, obviously. And this pheromone is accompanied by onyxes. So I estimate this kill to be worth about 5 mil. And knowing that, it doesn't really matter what the other drops of today will be. I'm already a happy man. This is my 12th kill of the day. And for the last couple of kills I've been using Vampirism Aura. I guess it clearly had an effect on my food usage. Anyway, let me show you the rest of the loot that I got today, so you can see if it greatly improved since my first kill. Well, just look at those onyx bolts. That's a considerate amount. And with just those, today's loot value goes up significantly. Those Hydrix bolt tips and Cyanic scales push the value even further. And with all those great drops combined, I estimate today's profit to be around 12 million, and that in just 2 hours. That's not bad, eh? Oh, and then there's that Triskelion fragment. This one has a 3 behind it. You know what that means. And if I were to really look out with that one, then today's profit could multiply more than Jordan Belfort's net worth in the late 80s. And now I can put a 7 on the board. That means no dying in a week. And my next target here is double digits. Alright, it's time to do that Triskelion and Elite combo. Herb seeds? Okay, that's not the most valuable reward, but it's a useful one. Just think of the amount of herbs I'll get with these. Let's check the reward of that Elite. Not good, but not bad either. Let's just move on. This Durzag kill is just an ordinary one, really. Nothing truly special happened. Sure, the jihadi picks were a nuisance, just as they always are, but luckily it stayed with just being a nuisance. So there weren't any big problems. I guess I can only conclude that the worst part of this kill is actually the rewards. Of course I'm lucky to be blessed with a reroll. And yes, the reroll is indeed better. But not of the likes that I suddenly bathe in gold. So it's the first Araxxi kill of the day again, and this time I reach 100 mil magic XP. Now seriously, what is it with Araxxi kills at 0% enrage? I'm starting to think that if I ever do find Mr. Pointy, it'll be at one of those kills. But it's not like I'm going to do just one kill a day now. Also, I'm estimating that I should get 120 magic within the 3 weeks. Of course, that's not set in stone, as it also depends on many variables. And without a doubt, my absolute favorite of these variables would be, of course, to find Mr. Pointy. Oh wow, look at that! Another pheromone! I got one yesterday and now again! The amount of pheromones that I'm getting lately, that is quite crazy. Well, it's certainly something else than getting eyes every time. Even though it's been a while since I last got an eye. But I guess green is the new red. And actually, I prefer it that way. But what I would prefer more is for purple to become the new green. So please Zoros, let purple be the new green soon. You've already seen me get that pheromone, and other than that I got some Cernic scales as well, so that's good. The rest isn't really worth mentioning. And that pretty much summarizes the loot from today's 11 Araxxi kills. In the last episode I told you I was close, and now I finally reached it. 5k reputation at the Zamorak faction. So that means the drops from the Twin Furies increased by 100%. But how that works isn't really clear to me. So I'm not sure if I now have a double chance of getting a rare item, or if the quantity of drops is doubled. Like for example, instead of getting 50 magic logs, you now get 100. But if I were to guess, I would have to go with a double chance of getting a rare item. To me that just makes a whole lot more sense. And that's also basically what I hope it to be. And also you can keep on gaining reputation. What is left to unlock is a title. But that one requires 20k reputation, so I won't be going for that. I'm still very happy with my current title, so I don't really see the use of getting another one. Anyway, next faction is Zoros. Alright guys, that's 8 days without dying. And that actually doubles my previous records. So I'm doing very good. Before I return to Araxxi, I'm first going to do my aquarium clue. And the award for worst clue reward of this episode goes to... Yeah, I honestly don't see this one getting beaten. Well, I certainly hope not. I still vividly remember that 54k elite reward from a few episodes ago. So that's why I say I hope not. What? Yet another pheromone. That's like my third one in equally as many days. Well, that's it guys, I'm starting a new perfume line. How about Araxyte Boss? Fragrance for RNG. What do you guys think? You'd buy a bottle, wouldn't you? Okay guys, get ready for a 10 seconds Araxxor kill. Well, Araxxor killing me in 10 seconds that is. So this is how it happened. I use combust on Araxxor and I run under him for double damage. And at that moment Araxxor starts spazzing out. And he uses his cleave attack in an unspecified direction. Obviously I tried to run away, but we all know that the responsiveness of RuneScape isn't that great. And so I fall victim to this lack of responsiveness by an almost 12k hit. And that in just 10 seconds of fighting. Goodbye sweet yak, filled with delicious rocktails. A high cleave attack like that is of course always expected when you're fighting Araxxi at 240% in rage. So that means that I already killed Araxxi 12 times today. And the best thing I got was obviously that pheromone I just saw earlier. And besides that, I didn't really get any of the items that are worth an obscene amount of money. And of course I'm talking about onyxes and the likes. Although I did get some other nice things. More precisely a Triskelion fragment and an ancient effigy. And as I've said countless of times before, I care very little about the latter. 8 days, alas, that's the record to beat now. So I'm gonna have to wait at least 10 days for double digits. Now my board resets to 0 days without dying. This elite clue I got from the Dwarven Instinct aura. And let's see if that brings me some luck. Bando's Crozier and Super Restore potions, those stand out for me here. But there's a reroll available and I believe I can do better. And I was right, the value went up. Okay, only by 3k, but at least it didn't go down. And I got to keep those Restore potions. As for that Dragon Square ornament kit, that'll just rot in my bank pretty much. Well, maybe I'll use it when I get a half shield drop, and then that can rot in my bank instead. 2 Durzag fights ago, I unlocked the raid feat Animal Cruelty. Well, this time someone in the group wanted to go for 2 more feats. Personally, I don't really care about those feats at all. So I was kinda skeptical about this. You know, this could negatively affect the chance of getting the kill. And the kill is after all what I deem most important. But on the other hand, I'm not completely against going for those feats either. The group leader was in favor of trying this. And of course I'm not going to just leave. I'm glad I didn't leave too, because we made it, we prevailed. And the fight certainly didn't go without any problems. Once again, my yak storage bruised for itself. But honestly, I endured worse and ordinary fights. Anyway, I've now unlocked 1 more Couldn't Hurt and Gong Maintenance Expert. That completes 4 out of the 10 raid feats. But let's see the reward now. The raw food sure looks good, but let's reroll. A vast amount of runite ore and serenic scales. Now that's much better than raw foods. Sadly, I have to say that the combo has been broken. So no 4th day in a row where I get a pheromone. And no exclusive at all actually. Instead I got 100 runite ore, and that's worth a nice amount. But even more valuable are those uncut onyxes. And then there's also that Triskelion fragment. All this loot is from 10 Araxxi kills, by the way. This is the last one of max cases that I'm doing right now, and honestly I enjoyed this event. It was fun to go around and talk to all these different NPCs, and there were a couple of funny cases too. That Turoth case for example. A Turoth buys a pack of socks from a saleswoman, but discovers that there's 1 sock missing, and he claims to be scammed. But my absolute favorite case is the one with the platelegs salesman in Araxxite. This salesman ends up scamming the adventurer. And this last case, well, that's a great teaser for the Kindred Spirits quest, which is already out, I know. But before I do this quest, I want to do the other quests first. I still have quite a few to go. Anyway, unlike yesterday, no deaths this time. So that's 1 day without dying. My day at Araxxi wasn't all that exciting. I got some serenic skills and that's about it really. Well, it's not like I can expect more from 5 kills. But there's one other thing, that Triskelion fragment. That allows me to complete another full Triskelion, so that makes the day a bit better. Yeah, I didn't do much today, so the chance of me dying is small, and so I'm 2 days without dying. I have a Triskelion, so let's immediately use that. Gems. They can come in handy one day. Well, those diamonds come in handy already. Oh, and this is the start of a new Triskelion as well. It's been a very long time since I got really lucky with clues, so maybe this time? Okay, far from really lucky, but not unlucky either. It's certainly more than decent value and it has a couple of useful items. Man, I shouldn't have been ridiculing the jihadi pigs earlier this episode. They must have taken it badly and they punished me for it. Okay, their punishment wasn't critical, but what came after it was. Somehow I wasn't able to heal up in time and I died to a ranged attack from a pet. Yeah, I blame lag. No, but seriously though. People use it as an excuse, but it's really lag that killed me here. Anyway, fortunately I made it back in time to loot Durzag's corpse within the instance. So that means that I have reroll. And it looks like it comes in handy too. Some more delicious rune. Thank you, reroll. I only got serenic scales today, so it's just like yesterday, but at least then I got a Triskelion fragment. So for the 6 kills that I got, the loot could have been better. And thanks to the jihadi pigs and the lag, I'm back to 0 days without dying. I'd make such a terrible hardcore Iron Man, wouldn't I? That's it for this episode. Can I make it to 7 days without dying? And will I finally find Mr. Pointy? You'll see that in my next episode. I thank you all for watching, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.